If you want to understand Iran, you have to understand the Quds Force, because Iran doesn't just project power through its conventional military. It projects powers through networks, proxies, influence, and covert operations across the Middle East and increasingly across the world. Strategy did not develop overnight. It developed over decades. And to understand it, you have to understand the Quds Force, how it is structured, and the proxy groups it supports. I'm a former Special Operations Tier 1 operative, a Farsi speaker and an Iranian subject matter expert. And for over 10 years, I conducted intelligence operations against the Islamic Republic, the IRGC, and the Quds Force. So first, what is the Quds Force? The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Quds Force is the external operations arm of Iran's IRGC. Unlike traditional military forces, the Quds Force operates outside of Iran. Its mission includes unconventional warfare, proxy warfare, intelligence operations, covert operations, and strategic influence. And importantly, the Quds Force doesn't follow the traditional command structure of the IRGC, and they actually report directly to Iran's supreme leader himself. This gives the Quds Force enormous authority and flexibility. This allows Iran to project power while avoiding direct military confrontation. The Quds Force is not just one unit. It follows a similar structure style to our own CIA. It is a layered organization made up of regional commands, proxy leadership, logistic networks, intelligence elements, and covert operational units. This allows Iran to operate across multiple regions simultaneously. Some elements are highly visible, like Hezbollah or the Iraqi militias. Other elements operate quietly behind the scenes. One of the key components is Unit 190. Unit 190 is widely believed to handle weapon transfers, smuggling networks, logistics, and supply chains. This includes missiles, rockets, drones, explosives, and small arms. Unit 190 acts as the logistic backbone of Iran's proxy network. Without logistics, the proxies can't function. Now we're going to cover probably the two most threatening sections of the Quds Force, Department 400 and Unit 840. Department 400 is in charge of all the clandestine and covert external operations outside of Iran. Department 400 is widely believed to focus on external operations, surveillance, recruitment, targeting, and even potential assassination plots. Unlike other Quds Force elements that operate through proxies, Department 400 is believed to conduct direct covert operations abroad. One key characteristic of Department 400 is deniability. Department 400 operations reportedly rely on criminal networks and intermediaries, non-Iranian operatives, and proxy actors. This increases their ability for plausible deniability. The Department 400 timeline starts in the early 2000s. After U.S. operations in Iraq and Afghanistan, Iran decided to expand its external capabilities. At the beginning, Department 400 reportedly focused on intelligence gathering, surveillance, and recruitment. But going into the 2010s, the Quds Force started to expand surveillance in Europe, monitoring dissidents, and even targeting Israeli interests. We saw examples of this as early as 2011 in Washington, D.C., when U.S. authorities thwarted a plot against the Saudi ambassador. This demonstrated Iran's growing global reach. But over time, another element emerged, Unit 840. Unit 840 is believed to be a specialized external operations unit, more specifically reported to be their assassinations unit. We believe this to be a section that started inside Department 400, but has grown in size and scope, and operating alongside Department 400, or even possibly acting independently. Unit 840 has been reportedly linked to a number of assassination attempts around the world, to include both on Israel and U.S. soil and other places as well. Shahram Poursafi, an individual charged in 2022 for an alleged plot targeting U.S. officials, is believed to be a member of this unit. Strength isn't built in comfort, it's built through repetition, through discipline, through showing up when it would be easier not to. For me, training has always been about pushing limits, becoming stronger, faster, and more capable every single day. But the gear you wear matters. Barbell apparel was built for athletes who move, who train, who refuse to compromise between performance and style. Clothes that move with you, built for strength, built for durability, and built for the grind. Whether it's the gym, the track, or the everyday mission, train hard, move freely, live disciplined. Barbell apparel. Use code StoicViking25 and step into the gear that's built for you, how you actually train. But to understand how this network developed, you have to understand its mastermind, Qasem Soleimani. Soleimani is the mastermind that built the network that has emerged as the world threat that it has become today. Soleimani was one of the most charismatic leaders in the Islamic world, and he built relationships with Hezbollah, Iraqi militias, Syrian leadership, Houthis, and even Palestinian groups, which were Sunni and not Shia. He unified them into what would become known as the Axis of Resistance. But after Soleimani's death in 2020, leadership passed to Ismail Qayyani. He was not quite as a charismatic leader, nor did he conduct operations in the same way that Soleimani did. He favored operations that were more decentralized, more institutional, and arguably even more resilient. The Quds Force goal has always been to project power globally. Iran has developed networks across the world to include Latin America, Africa, Europe, Asia, and of course, the Middle East. To understand Iran's strategy, you must understand its proxy groups. Each group differs in alignment, religious sect, purpose, capability, and history. Together they form Iran's infamous proxy network. Probably the most well-known of Iran's proxies, Hezbollah. This is a Shia group based out of Lebanon. Founded early in the 1980s during the Lebanese Civil War. Hezbollah was created in 1982 following Israel's invasion of Lebanon. Iran deployed IRGC advisors to Lebanon's Bekaa Valley. These advisors trained and organized what would become Hezbollah, and Hezbollah is widely considered Iran's most capable proxy. Iran provides funding, weapons, training, and intelligence. Their most notable attacks are the 1983 Beirut barracks bombing, which killed 241 U.S. service members and 58 French troops. They're responsible for the 1984 U.S. Embassy Annex bombing, the 1980s hostage-taking of Westerners, and the 2006 war with Israel. Their main strategic purpose is deterrence against Israel, training other proxy groups, and being a regional military partner to Iran and its other proxies. The next proxy group is the Badr Organization. They're a Shia group based in Iraq. They were formed during the 1980s during the Iran-Iraq War, who initially fought Saddam Hussein, which the Ba'ath Party is made up of Sunnis, which was the controlling religious sect of the Iraqi government at the time. After the 2003 U.S. invasion, and when U.S. forces removed Saddam Hussein and the Ba'ath Party, the Badr Organization returned to Iraq. Their strategic purpose is political influence inside Iraq, security force prevention, and most importantly, Iranian leverage in Iraq. The next group is Kataib Hezbollah, or commonly known as KH. They are also a Shia group based out of Iraq. They were founded around 2007, and they are strongly backed by Iran and the Quds Force. They're most well known for their IED attacks against U.S. forces, rocket attacks on U.S. bases. Their main strategic purpose is attacking U.S. forces and expanding Iranian influence. The next group is Asaib Ahl al Haq, or commonly known as AH. They are also a Shia group based out of Iraq. They were founded in 2006, and they split from the Mahdi army. They are also supported by Iran, and they're most well known for the 2007 Karbala attack, where they killed 5 U.S. soldiers. Their main strategic purpose is military pressure and political influence. The next group is Liwa Fatemiyoun, which is a Shia group based out of Afghanistan. They were formed during the Syrian Civil War, when Iran recruited Afghan Shia fighters to be deployed to Syria. Their main strategic purpose was to expand manpower and to maintain deniability. The next group is Liwa Zainabiyoun, which is a Shia group based out of Pakistan, and these were Pakistan fighters recruited by Iran to fight in the Syrian conflict. And their strategic purpose was to expand Iran's growing multinational proxy force. Next is the Houthi movement, Shia group based out of Yemen. They were founded in the 1990s, and they have a strong alignment with Iran. Iran provides weapons, training, and intelligence. They're most well known for their missile attacks on Saudi Arabia, drone attacks on the UAE, and attacks on ships around the shipping lanes around Yemen, to include the 2016 USS Mason incident. Their strategic purpose is to pressure Saudi Arabia and threaten shipping lanes. The next two proxy groups are not Shia, they're Sunni. First, Hamas, which is a Sunni group based out of Gaza. They were founded in 1987. Iran provides them funding, training, and weapons, and their strategic purpose is to pressure Israel and expand regional influence. The next group is the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and they're another Sunni group based in that area, but they actually have a closer relationship with Iran than Hamas does, and their main strategic purpose is to pressure Israel and to provide additional proxy capability. And you might be asking why these two Sunni groups would help Iran. Well, they both share a common enemy, Israel. While much of Iran's proxy activity is concentrated in the Middle East, the Quds Force has also developed influence networks and operational capabilities outside the region. Iran operates globally. Over the past several decades, Iran has developed networks across Latin America, Africa, Europe, Asia, and even North America. These networks serve several purposes: intelligence gathering, logistics and support, financial networks and recruitment, and of course, influence operations and covert operations. Iran tries to leverage any relationship of any country or group that is either not the biggest fan of Israel or the United States. In 1994, the AMIA bombing in Buenos Aires, which killed 85 people, was linked to Hezbollah and Iranian operatives. In Africa, Iranian influence has been reported in Sudan, Nigeria, Kenya, and South Africa. In Europe, we have observed Iranian operatives conducting operations to include surveillance, recruitment, and other intelligence operations. And in North America, going back as far as 2011, we have thwarted a number of operations on American soil linked to Iranian operatives. The strategic takeaway is this: Iran does not rely on one proxy. Iran has built a network, a decentralized network, a resilient resilient network. Iran does not just operate as a country, it operates as a network, and the Quds Force connects it all. If you want to understand Iran, you have to understand the Quds Force, and you have to understand its proxies, because that is where most of Iran's power comes from. If you're looking for that boost in the gym, both physically and cognitively, and you hate the taste of powdered creatines, it's by far the best tasting creatine gummies I've tried. And I know for a fact that they work because I've tried them, and they're one of the companies that third-party tests their product more than any other creatine gummy company out there. So visit Tasty Gains, and you can use my discount code Viking when you visit, and you'll find the link below in my description. Try them today. If you like this content, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to support the channel even further, consider becoming a member. And if you would like to donate, you can find the link in my bio. Doing all this really helps my channel and helps me to continue making content like this. Long-form content with deep analysis, and help people to understand the world apolitically from a context of history and critical thinking. I appreciate you all, and thank you for your time.